Happy Saturday. Kelly in Vegas here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. We're taking you right up until normally tip-off, kickoff, first pitch, whatever you want to call it. But it is Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern here on the East Coast, 8 a.m. all the way out there in Las Vegas. So we're going to bring in VR right away while his internet is good. We're bringing him in. Hopefully, no issues. VR, full slate of stuff today, including Premier Lacrosse League, which I'm really excited about. But obviously, unless you have an advantage, you're not betting it. I went 2-0 yesterday. I will say that. So small advantage, even though I can only get down $300 or so on the Hard Rock app. That's the most painful part about it. When you're losing, it's like, oh, thank God they only let me bet $300. When you're winning, you're like, really? I can only get down $300?
That is those kind of bets. They just don't want to take it, Kel, because they don't have a market. Like, they don't have enough bettors on the other side. So it's kind of like you against the sports book for the most part. And that's a fight they don't want. Even with the VIG, they know that you may have access to info that's just not going to be factored into their betting line. Like, they know that with a sport like that. And that's where the fear comes in. But that's where you can always tell. I tell that to all gamblers. You want to know where casino's most vulnerable, ask what the betting limits are. Like, if they're not willing to take a big bet, there's a reason for that. They don't have certainty. Because when a casino has certainty and a built-in edge, they're willing to take a monstrous bet. But if they don't have certainty, even with a built-in edge, they're not willing to take too big of a risk.
All right, I see you got your Bitcoin shirt on. Let's address the monster in the room. Yeah, I know a lot of people are here for sports gambling, but I want to talk about the crypto market that has been absolutely torched in the last 48 hours.
It's a beautiful thing. This is the best thing that could ever happen for crypto. Yes, tell the charts told us this. Here's the problem that everyone was telling us this time it's different. This time it's different. The institutions are here. The institutions are buying it up. This time it's different. It's not different. History repeats itself. Bitcoin has been created on a 4-year cycle. That hasn't changed. We're now through like the 4th cycle and it hasn't changed. So here's what happens. You were supposed to have sold your crypto about 3 months ago and sit back and wait until about October and start buying. Actually, you could start buying in July. At the end of this, we may have a July rise. So wait until that next bump up. And then once it dumps again, then you could start buying all the way down till it drops through October towards the end of the year. That's going to be a prime buying opportunity. But that's when everyone's going to panic, because once Bitcoin drops below that like 60, 55, 50 range, that's where the majority of wallets won't be in profit no more. That's when they're really going to panic and sell. And plus, when they're going to be seeing that AI stocks are going up, they're going to see that all of a sudden SpaceX IPO is launched. Where's that money going to come from? They need liquidity. What are they going to dump? Crypto. They're going to dump crypto. That's what's happening now. They're watching these AI stocks go up 100% in 5 days. And they're like, what am I doing sitting, keeping my cash parked in crypto? It's not moving. So they dump, and they do this all the time. I'm telling you, when it comes to crypto, I learned this because I went broke. I became a millionaire and went and lost back and forth probably 4 or 5 times during my first ride. So I'm telling you, just sit back. If you're sitting on crypto right now, just hold out. Just hold out. Don't dump it now. You might as well hold out. But start stacking up your cash because a huge buying opportunity is around the corner. I'm telling you now, a huge buying opportunity is coming because you're going to see a huge crypto dump. It's just beginning. It's just beginning.
All right. Well, keep an eye on that. We always talk about sports markets, but I thought the crypto market was interesting with your Bitcoin t-shirt on this morning. Let's talk about the steam room. You got the steam room going on today, and I kind of want to give everybody a preview, right? So what I like to do here on Last Call, if you guys are new to the show, is I just let VR do his thing. I just sit back, I relax, I take notes just like you guys should be doing.
All right. I hear we got a lot to cover today. So I'm just going to dive right in because this is what we're going to be covering in the steam room. Remember, we got NHL Game 3, a huge Game 3 today. And I just got confirmation. No bullshit. I have a huge, strong lean. I was even telling Minty Bets at the UFC when we were taping yesterday. I have a really strong lean in this Game 3. I say, I just hope I don't see any of the groups that bet NHL go against me. What do I get? I get the main group that I've been following a lot came in on the same side. And again, not the out, but I've been number one in the NHL regular season, number one in the NHL playoffs. And it's because we're following the same group when they match up with my power ratings. And it's just big money for us. So we're going to cover that game 3 in the NHL. We got Major League Baseball. We got College World Series. We got WNBA. And, of course, an MMA card over at the UFC Apex. So I'll dive right in now and share a little bit of the steam. But join me at 1 p.m. Eastern in the steam room. I'll go into detail into each of these markets, share all the info I can. And if you can't join me for that, the steam sheet's available. It's $19. I really took time today and narrowed down the strongest baseball that I could at this early in the morning, and we'll be adding more to it, and also some college baseball. So let's dive right in. Here's some college baseball for you. Live dog, Oklahoma, plus 160. They also took the plus 1.5 runs with Oklahoma. Mississippi State, plus 1.5 runs, minus 140 against Georgia. Winner of this game probably wins the College World Series. Power rating wise, that's what we have. In fact, I have a future on Mississippi State at plus 550. I probably should put a little Georgia money today. We still have time. I'll decide whether I do that or not. But they took Mississippi State plus 1.5 runs today, up to minus 140. So I kind of have a little bit of insurance there. West Virginia minus 320. And finally, Oregon plus 2.5 runs at even money. Now, College World Series, they bet a lot of chalk. They get down early, and a lot of times these lines really move. So if you miss the boat, and when it comes to heavy chalk, you probably shouldn't be chasing it because there's not a lot of room for error. You make a mistake on a plus 200, it's not going to kill you. You make a mistake on a minus 450, it's going to take a big chunk of your bankroll out. So you got to be cautious and get good numbers. And I'm telling you, when it comes to college baseball, they lay chalk. Yesterday we swept, but we laid Troy at like 230. We bet West Virginia at like minus 330. Again, we swept College World Series, but you know, you have to lay some chalk at times. One play in the WNBA real quickly, that's Golden State plus 3 over Vegas. They've been riding this Golden State team this season. And a couple MLB plays for you. 905 Pittsburgh plus 115. 909 Milwaukee, chalky, minus 230. Washington, they just kept betting from 155 all the way to plus 140. So they like Washington a lot. And also Miami plus 130 and 125. Actionable info, I just released a 3% on a first 5-team total. I love these kind of bets. They usually do really well, those small market bets. And we bet over 1.5 and over 2 runs. We went over 1.5 runs on the Washington Nationals up to about minus 175, or over 2 runs up to about minus 115, 120. So I was able to get down at 1.5, but it's good up until 2 runs. So that's the first 5 over in Washington team total. And like I said, they did bet Washington as well, plus 155 all the way down 140. Total 240 under 9.5. Cincinnati, St. Louis. I'll give you a premium I just sent out too. Minnesota, KC under 4.5 first 5 innings. KC, Minnesota under 4.5 first 5 innings. And one more total for you, over 8 and 8.5, Seattle and Detroit. So yeah, a lot of action for Saturday. NBA's off till Monday, but with that series more or less over, it really doesn't matter anymore. It's now about Major League Baseball, NHL.
More or less over. We're going to get to the Prez to talk about the NBA here in a little bit. I just saw that he logged in. But first, we got Marco D'Angelo with the Belmont. I would bring Marco in, but we all know my production skills are not that good. But don't worry. Rest assured, we're all 3 going to be back for Bet On It this football season.
Yes.
I am already working on that show. I know that sounds crazy to say here in early June, but we've got big stuff planned here over at WagerTalk.com. Make sure you guys head over, check out the steam room right here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, 1 p.m. Eastern. VR, anything else before we get you out of here?
No, I mean, listen, man, it's been great what the Knicks have been able to do. And it just sucked because our power rating wise, I had them up at the top at the end of the playoffs, and the number 1 defense, and they're showing they are just legit able to win a game like that. So if you had the Knicks future, Good for you. I can tell you, wise guys took a beating. They bet the Spurs for the series. Then they bet the Spurs when they lost game 1 on the adjusted series line. So, yeah, they're in the hole with the Spurs series. But Carolina and Vegas, here's what they did. They had Carolina for the series. When Carolina lost game 1, they bet Carolina for the adjusted series. When Carolina won game 2, they bet Carolina again to win on adjusted series. Here's why. I talked about it the other day on Wager Talk today. On paper, rarely in a finals will you get a disparity like this where, one team is just so much better than the other on paper. And that's Carolina against Vegas. You're talking about the number 1 offense, number 1 defense with the number 1 strength of schedule. Like on paper, there is no more complete team than Carolina. But when a team has momentum and they're running hot, it's hard to stop them. And that's what was Vegas is, then they caught Carolina injured. But the wise guys, yeah, they're really high on this Carolina team, Kel, and they're going to ride them all the way to either cashing a series ticket or getting buried in the series if Vegas gets it done.
Okay, VR, you are the best, and we will see you next Saturday right here on Last Call, hopefully with better Wi-Fi. We're going to bring in Marco D'Angelo here to talk to Belmont. So if you guys have a Belmont question, jump in the chat. Then we'll get to the Prez with some NBA, and Carmine Bianco is going to join us to talk about that NHL series as well as some World Cup. Marco, I brought you in early because I learned my lesson during the Kentucky Derby and the Preakness that these races start earlier than I ever thought that they did. So let's get right into it. I do want to start with a preface of I'm going to assume that most people have a baseline for horse racing, but we get a ton of questions here at Wager Talk. For example, the way that you give out your plays, right? You talk about keys and exacta boxes and all these things. So before we get into it, I kind of want to talk to the newish horse bettors, right? That may want to get involved and buy your package. By the way, you can get that right now today for just $2 over at wagertalk.com. Let's see if I can get it on the screen. Hey, look at me, Marco. I'm in mid-season form. Right now, you can get Marco's Belmont package for just $2. But before we get into their specific Belmont questions, I want to talk about if they were to purchase that package, how on earth they place these wagers.
Yeah, Kelly, in preface, that $2 package is to first-time buyers. If you've already bought from Wager Talk, we got you covered too. You can use coupon code Belmont10, and that would get you $10 off of that package. And Kelly, there's so many different ways to bet the races, and I try to give something for every type of bettor. The simplest wager for a newbie is to bet, win, place, or show. And when you're making a win bet, obviously your horse has to win. If you're making a place bet, the horse can win or finish second, and you're still going to collect. But obviously, a place bet's going to return less money than a win bet. And then show bet is your horse can finish first, second, or third. If you're new, you just want to have some fun at the track, that's probably the safest way for you to go. Now, when you start to make what is called exotic wagers, those are things that are called exactas, trifectas, superfectas. Those are higher risk, but they bring back more money. To equate it to a sports wagering term, an exacta is like a parlay. Okay, and it would be a 2-team parlay. You're picking 2 horses to finish first or second. If you play it as an exacta, that means you have to be exact. You have to pick, let's say, number 1 and number 2. They got to run 1-2. But if you say exacta box, Kelly, they can finish either way, 1-2 or 2-1. And you get the exacta. And they also have trifectas and superfectas. Trifecta would be picking the first 3. So we're like making a 3-team parlay, and a superfecta would be picking the first 4 horses in the exact order. And that would be like a 4-leg parlay. And if you know how parlays work, the more legs, the bigger the payout, but they're also the harder to hit. So that's a quick crash course on betting horse racing. But what is so good about these Triple Crown races, Kelly, unlike sports betting, you're not betting against the house. Okay. When you make a sports bet, you walk up, you get your team, they're -3 or +3, and the house is going to pay you if they win or lose. The house is taking a risk like you are, but they're getting the benefit of that 10% juice. When you're betting horse racing, the house doesn't care who wins because you're betting into a pool. It's called a parimutuel wager, and you're dividing up the pool between the winning players. The house gets their cut, their hold, their rake, whatever term you want to use, and you're getting the rest of it. So when you have these big races, Kelly, there's a lot of people that don't know what they're doing because they never bet horse racing other than a couple times a year for these big races. So we like to refer to them as politely dead money. Okay. And it inflates the pools and it makes it a plus EV situation for sharp bettors that know what they're doing, because I'm competing against not only other sharps, but I'm a lot of novices that are putting money in there betting on a horse's name, the color of the jockey silks, things like that. So it's a great time to be betting these type of races.
I didn't know we could bet on the jockey silks. That just changed my complete handicap, Marco. Let's get into today's Belmont. If you guys have a question for Marco, drop it in the chat. Marco, I have no questions as of right now, so I'm going to do what I let everybody do on this show and just kind of have at it. If you've got some opinions on some of these earlier races, we'd love to hear it. We all know that the pick 4 is what I asked you and Sean for in the group chat last time, and I missed it by one leg, of course, but it made those earlier races a little bit more enticing, right? I'm not that average everyday horse bettor. It's kind of like baseball. I don't like to bet daily baseball. I go to a game, I want to bet baseball. Days like the Belmont, I want to bet the horses. So give me some of your wealth of knowledge information here on the Belmont.
Yeah, Kelly, and simply put, you like action. And there are a lot of races today at Belmont, and there's several, I think, very interesting races. I'll give a couple horses here that in the earlier card that's part of what I gave out to the clients today. In race 8, the True North Stakes, and that race will go around 3:25 Eastern time. The number 6 horse, Bookham Dano. I like this horse in this field. I think he sets up well for this particular race. Should get a decent price on him because it is on paper a pretty competitive race, and that's what you're looking for in these particular races. So race 8, that is a horse that you could look at. I'll give you another horse that I like a lot, and it is before the Belmont. So I'll throw another wager out there that I didn't mention. It's called a daily double. And Kelly, what that is you're betting the winner of what the race that you're currently on with the winner of the race coming up. So you're trying to pick 2 winners in 2 consecutive races. So race 12 leads into the Belmont, the big race. And there's a horse in there, number 6, Bright Pitcher. This is a race that I think is going to be very competitive. It is a big stake race on the card. It is on the turf, and you're looking at this horse comes over from France. I love taking these horses coming over from across the pond, especially in these turf races. They do very well. This is a horse that's going to also pick up one of the best jockeys in the U.S. in Flavien Prat, who also specializes in riding turf races. And it's a big edge. A lot of times when these horses come over from France, Ireland, different places, they do bring their jockey with them. In this case, I think this is huge for using Flavien Prat because this is basically Flavien's home track, racing in New York at Saratoga. He knows this turf course very well. The horse, I'm betting him win in place, and I will be using him in daily doubles into the Belmont, where, when we talk about the Belmont next, I think it's a 2-horse race for a win, and you can get some value on a daily double. So that's number 6 in race 12, Kelly.
All right, Marco, looking for these questions. It's kind of quiet in the chat this morning, you guys. Senior officer wins race 2 at the Belmont. You guys are just kind of snoozing on me here. About 1,000 of you guys watching us live. And it might have been my fault for letting VR run too long with his bad Wi-Fi. I might have just completely tanked the show. But I thought you guys could at least hear him, and it was good information. Marco, anything else you have to add for the Belmont before we get you out of here?
Kelly, the Belmont, I can tell you that with some of the advanced betting, and it's what I expected. Renegade is going to go off the clear-cut favorite. Morning line had him at 2-1. Chief Wallaby was at 3-1, second choice. Surprisingly, the Derby winner, Golden Tempo, a lot of people not believing in, he got the perfect trip in the Kentucky Derby to get up and win by the smallest of margins. They're not believing in him. He was a morning line of 9-2. He's currently sitting at 5-1. Renegade is down to 8-5 right now, and Chief Wallaby is floated up to 5-1. I think that's a great price on Chief Wallaby. To me, when I watched the Kentucky Derby, Kelly, as we talked about it when we did the Pony Pundit show, two horses impressed me. Renegade overcoming post one and still almost winning that race, and Chief Wallaby, after having trouble at the top of the stretch, getting bumped, lost momentum, lost the hole that he was about to go through when he was making a move, and had to wait for another hole to open. And when it opened late, he darted to the inside and was charging up the rail and finished fourth. Those are the two horses that impressed me coming out of the Kentucky Derby. And those are the two horses that it's going to come down to, in my opinion. So if you want to take that number 6 that I gave you in the 12th race and hook it up in a daily double, play 6-3 and 6-4 for the daily double, I think you got a live wager there.
I like that. That's going to give me some more action in the afternoon while I wait for my Denver Outlaws and the Premier Lacrosse League to start. Yes, Marco's correct. I love my action. Marco, thank you for joining us again, guys. First-time buyers get his Belmont package for just $2 using coupon code Belmont2 over at WagerTalk.com. All right, we're going to bring in the Prez now because, well, why not? It just seems like a good idea at the time, and we're going to talk about that NBA team last night. Boy, I feel like Prez the last 2 nights, and this is not a brag, this is a fade. And everybody knows that I fade my friend Trent because why wouldn't I? It's awful. It's awful how bad luck he has. I've never seen it as bad as that in my entire life. And he was on the Spurs both times. And I said, okay, fine. I guess I'll take the Knicks, even though I had a futures bet on the Spurs. The Spurs, are they dead in the water? I saw a tweet this morning I sent to you in our Slack messages, and it said, I quote, teams to lose game 1 and 2 at home, not on the road, at home in NBA Finals history to then come back and win the series. Oh, wait, that's never happened. So there's no list of teams to do that.
Well, I think it's only happened 5 times when teams were given an opportunity to win. So there is that. But listen, first off, anybody born in this era has great luck, no matter what happens in their life. They could have been born in the 1400s. So right off the bat, the baseline is we are all incredibly lucky just for being alive in this era. Okay. Kelly, look, it's really hard to make a case for the San Antonio Spurs. Now, I can, but what I want to talk about is this concept of betting big juice. You have the New York Knicks on the series price at anywhere from -440 to -500. And if you look at what -500 means, -500 means that if you make 100 bets and all of them were -500, you would need to win 83% of the time to break even. In the history of the NBA, there have been 450 opportunities for a team down 0-2 to win the series, and it's only happened 34 times. That's a 7% rate. NBA teams that fall behind 0-2 in a best-of-7 playoff series win the series roughly 7% of the time. So you have a bet that you have to pay 83 cents to make, so to speak. 83%. You have to win 83% of the time. It's a monster -500 to make. But you're getting 10 cents of value here. It's only happened 7% of the time, and you're paying way less. So the actual mathematical correct bet to make would be to take the New York Knicks at -450, 500. That is, from a math perspective, the right bet to make. If you go back over the 450 times that teams have found themselves in this position and you bet all those teams to win up to nothing, you would be it is a profitable exercise. So how do you do it, Kelly? How do you
I need you to step one step. Sorry? I just needed to go back one part of that math equation, just so that our audience understands where you're coming from. You are talking about just basic mathematical probabilities from a 450 game sample size.
Right.
Okay. I just wanted to walk it back.
Right.
To make sure that we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah. So 450 times it's happened. There's been 34 comebacks. That's a 7% rate. You're paying.
But from my understanding, none of those teams were the home team. Those were
no. Those were home teams. It's only happened 0 times in the finals. It has happened in the playoffs. It's 0 times in the finals.
Thank you.
But the 0 times in the finals is simply not enough. It's only been 5 opportunities. So, 450 opportunities is a really big sample size. I feel pretty confident that 7% is roughly the right number given the sample size of 450. So the right bet to make is the New York Knicks from a series perspective. We, over the last 20 years, have kind of been conditioned to not make those type of bets. But if you go back to the days when Muhammad Ali was ruling the heavyweight division, Kelly, you know this, pro bettors were making minus 1,200, minus 1,400 bets every day. There was a time in the sports betting world where minus 400, nobody was afraid of making that. Minus 500, those were bets done on a regular basis. For some reason today, nobody is interested. Instead, they'll sit there and look and say, well, the San Antonio Spurs are plus 327. That math is way off, way off. You simply cannot take the San Antonio Spurs to win. Now,
really quickly, Prez, I want to know what the threshold is. One of the things we talk about at WagerTalk is, okay, but once it gets to this money line, you're too high. So I'm kind of just perusing a few of my accounts. I see a minus 440. Is minus 440 the correct bet to make?
Yeah, even better, because minus 240 is minus 440. Yeah, that's even better because minus 440 gives you a greater chance of winning your money. So minus 500 works, minus 490. So where the threshold will be is where the math turns over. So ultimately, probably somewhere, and I haven't done the math, but somewhere around minus 580, 600 is where the math is going to start leaning towards not betting it. But you got to remember, Kelly, because these places are doing insane, minus 500 plus 375, that's a 125 line, all because the math suggests at some point don't bet the Knicks. Doesn't mean you should bet San Antonio, because there is no equation that justifies betting San Antonio in the series price. And if San Antonio wins game 3, they only have a 13% chance of winning the series based on the 450.
Well, asking them to win 3 games in New York is going to be a tough one, in my personal opinion. Let's talk about said game 3.
Right.
Because I promised Carmine Bianco he'd be on in 2 minutes. So
yeah. So right off the bat, with all that said, there's certainly a pathway for San Antonio. Like, they're 6-3 on the road this year. They went into OKC in game 7 and probably played one of the best games they've played all year. They dominated that game. And I think we're going to see the New York Knicks take a breath in game 3. It's really, really hard to keep your intensity up game in, game out. It's why so often we see, the Montreal Canadiens walk out, beat Carolina 6-2, then they don't win another game. There are moments in playoff series in across any sport where teams just take a breath. And this is one of those games for the New York Knicks. And on top of that, San Antonio has played, when you go back and you look at all of those 0-2 teams, Well, those 0-2 teams weren't 11-point differential over 2 games.
That's what I want to talk about. That's what was so crazy when this line came out. We're talking about a 9-point swing from last night. We saw +7 hit the odds logic board, and now they are a 2-point favorite at home.
Right.
Those are the types of overreactions that I want to look for where I can bet game to game. Do I believe that my Spurs 4-1 is probably dead in the water? Sure. At that point in time, I'd rather be betting this game to game as a hedge in order to profit where I'm at. I had the Knicks for the first 2 games. Great. But I'm looking at San Antonio in game 3.
I am too. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I lost last night, just to let everyone know. I had San Antonio first half. So that did lose, but
first quarter, they looked great. They were up double digits. They looked like they were going to do exactly what everybody thought they were.
And I tossed and turned between, do I release the quarter or the half? Look, I think San Antonio is the right bet in the game 3. I think if you take a look, 38% shooting from the 3-pointer in game 2, worse in game 1. So from a math perspective, again, I feel like we're going to have a big game 3 shooting percentage from outside. Wemby did not get going until late in game 2. He's already announced that he kind of had a hangover off of beating OKC. I think we're going to see Wemby at his best. I think the team is going to rally around their star. And I think the New York Knicks are going to come into this game. And although they're obviously super confident, it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be like, and that, when you get down to the finals, that breath is the difference.
This is an interesting handicap. President Trump is going to be there. Mayor Mondami is going to be there. The tickets are outrageously expensive. I think this is an interesting dynamic to this game because you mentioned the Knicks wanting to exhale, right? Okay, we just won the 2 games on the road. Maybe that's not until game 4. I understand the overreaction. I'm just kind of playing a little contrarian here, Prez.
I would listen. Normally when you firstly, it's only around 40%, 38% that a team down 2-0 wins game 3. You would actually think that it is a greater percent. But given the way the second game went down and Wemby screaming and yelling on the bench like a lunatic, and the team coming out down 11 and taking that game over, only to really Wemby doesn't turn the ball over at the end of the game there, and I think they have a chance of winning it. I feel like game 4 the Knicks will be better. Game 3 is the right spot from my perspective. As for not losing in front of the president, there is no meaningful universal statistic that discusses the chance of a team losing in front of a president. In general, the president of a president.
You can't quantify
well,
it.
Oh no, they got something here. If Team A has a 40% chance to win the game, according to betting markets, it still roughly has the exact same percent chance of winning if the president was there.
Okay, but it should have been a question for Marco D'Angelo, my situational handicapper.
Yeah.
Marco loves himself a good situation.
Well, and Andy Lang would be like, did the president have a baby recently? Was there a death in their extended family?
I do love to bet against single players like tennis, UFC,
yeah, of course,
after they have a baby because your test levels do drop by over 50%. That is a statistical fact.
Listen, I'll tell you, speaking of tennis, we got a finals going tomorrow.
Okay.
Zverev has a chance to win his first ever. He's been in 4. And he's playing Kaboli. I gave Kaboli out at +600 to win. He's now +300. There's a ton of value on Kaboli. And plus, he didn't play in the semifinals, so he's super well rested. Zverev has a tendency to fall apart when the money is on the line.
I had no idea you were a tennis handicapper until today. It makes sense.
Oh my God, Kelly! Kelly, I'm in a chat group with everybody. I speak to Sabalenka. I am so deeply embedded to the tennis world. I literally am texting the umpire who is umping tomorrow's finals.
Well, I am best friends with two ladies down here in Florida whose dad's pretty famous in the tennis world. So I'm trying to catch up. Still trying to play catch up here and learn about the sport. But now maybe that's what I just need to do, Prez. I just need to start placing some tennis wagers, and then I'm going to learn a lot more.
Well, listen, if you are going to place tennis wagers, try to more focus on winning by games as opposed to winning, right? That's a more effective way. But tennis is one of the most widely bet sports in the world. And the bottom tier of tennis is actually one of the most fixed betting sports in the world.
Whoa. Yeah. Look at Prez coming with some knowledge that I had no idea about. And Prez and I could do a whole show on this, but we're going to get out of here because I got to talk to Carmine Bianco. Please let everybody know what you got going on at WagerTalk.com, Prez.
Yeah. So I'm rolling. Like every time I come on, it's crazy how well I'm doing. And now it's baseball. My hockey's been insane. 22-10 in the playoffs. My NBA is 60% in the playoffs. And now I'm on an 11-1 Major League Baseball run. I've won 11 of my last 12. I got one baseball play up tonight. I got a hockey play up tonight as well. But guys, if you've never purchased from WagerTalk before, we have this incredible deal where you buy 3 and you get 3 and you can use it for Gianni, Marco, myself, Carmine. It's such a great offer. You buy 3 days, you get 3 days on top of that. You'll end up getting my NBA, my NHL, my baseball. So take advantage of that. I am actually heading to Vegas on Wednesday to play 10 days of poker. If anyone is down there, please DM me. I'd love to see you, give you a hug. We do the best betting show every day, Monday to Friday, with Joe Ranieri and Art DeCesar. Carmine Bianco will be joining us every single day on that show moving forward for the World Cup of Soccer, which begins eminently. And that's about it, Kel. I'm so thrilled. I will not be back on WagerTalk Last Call till the end of June, but I'm so thrilled to be here and thankful for everything.
Yeah, you keep running hot, you get to come on the show. That's how it works. Prez, we will see you soon. All right, guys, I'm going to talk about a couple other things really quickly before I get Carmine Bianco in here, because Johnny Detroit's going to yell at me because I have like 8 of these graphics and I've done none of them. But if you guys remember, we did the set picks and parlays. We're also doing it winners and whiners, and we are now doing it at Sports Memo, sportsmemo.com. Get your first daily picks package for only $1. And if it loses, we are going to give you back 3 flex picks as in form of credits in your account. And if it wins, we're still going to give you 1 flex picks to use at your leisure. Code SM1 over at sportsmemo.com. All right, let's see if I can get back in here. I'm going to add Carmine Bianco to the stage. Sorry, Carmine, we're only 7 minutes late. I tried.
It's okay. It's all good.
We knew it was going to happen when I added a 4th chair today, and Prez was like, yo, it's my last time. I'm running hot in NBA. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. We're going to kick him off for the next month. You're going to take his
He just
spot.
whines and whines if you don't put him on. So it is.
Listen, I didn't call him out about his Conn Smythe award, and I probably should have. So last week he gives it out. I bet it. And then I tell my friends I bet it, and they go, Kelly, do you not know the allegations against him? And I'm like, wait, what? And whether they're true or not is not relevant to the story. What's relevant to the story is who gets to vote on the Conn Smythe Award, and it is journalists in the NHL world. So we're going to go ahead and guess that even if he was the rightful owner of said Conn Smythe Award, they're not going to give it to him.
No, they're not. They're not.
And of course, he had no goals. It was 2-0. He had given up no goals. And I'm like, he probably is going to he's just going to stand on his head the entire Stanley Cup Finals. And he is going to be the rightful owner of the award and not get it. But thank God he gave up 4 goals like the jackal that he is. Sorry, I was at the Golden Knights. That was not a fun loss. I was like one eyeing it in bed, and I'm like 2-0, 2-0. And I start to doze off, and I refresh, and it's 3-0. And I'm like, am I seeing this correctly? They scored 5 goals in 3 minutes. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Game 3. We got to get in here. Wrong one.
Yeah.
See, this is why Carmine's in charge.
It's okay. We're
we go.
good. Oh, there you are. You did it. I was just about to. There. You did
I think
it.
I like this one better. There we go.
And you look, and the books have it priced right. -110 both ways. It's kind of like what Gianni mentioned earlier. The Canes were like -155 coming into the series. The adjusted price took them a much lower, made the Knights a a slight favorite in it. And now the Canes are, I think, minus 120 to win the series, despite not having home ice. They have been the best team. And yes, I get it. Vegas has momentum, but I think there's a sort of that sigh of relief from the Canes after they beat the Montreal Canadiens to finally get over that hump and get into the Stanley Cup Finals. They were at one point in that series, or heading into that series, 1-17, their last 18 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then they lose Game 1 6-2, and everyone's basically hiding under their bed covers, thinking this can't happen to us again. But they roll off 4 straight wins. They lose to Vegas in that first game, in which they choked away a 2-0 lead, albeit early, and the Knights did the exact same thing in Game 2. This is one of those ones where, you know, the Canes are the better team. It is about them being able to unlock their number one line of Aho, Jarvis, and Svechnikov. They did so in the third period. Vegas has done a good job of shutting them down, and they have last change, obviously, with the game switching to T-Mobile Arena. But I want to look at the total here. The total in this one is 5.5. And I had the total in Game 2. And I'll admit, Cal, I was extremely lucky to win the over 6 in that game. It was dead in the water. But sometimes you got to get lucky to be good. And we did so there. Now the price is back to 5.5, which is similar to what Game 1 was and what most books had up even in Game 2, with a few of them at 6. And the juice is on the over, but I like the under here at plus 105. And it's only because this series is going to get tighter as it goes on. They split the opening 2 games and moves to Vegas. You look at Carolina thus far in the playoffs, 6 games on the road. Only 1 game has had 6 goals, and that was the second game they played in Ottawa, where it finished 5-1. Every other game has had 5 or fewer goals. The Vegas Golden Knights at home, 8 games they've played, 5 of the 8 have gone under the total as well, too. This one, the goaltenders haven't been good in games 1 and 2. They've had moments where they've looked good, but for the most part, they haven't. And I think it's just because it has been an up and down type of game, even with the game not having a ton of shots. I think last game it was only 26 shots apiece, and that might seem like a lot, but it's not when you consider the fact that there were 7 goals scored in that game. I think this is going to be one of those tight games that ends up 3-1, 3-2. I don't think it wouldn't surprise me if this game went to OT as well, too, even at 2. So I'm leaning under here. I'm going to see and wait, because the 5.5 is not going to disappear and go lower. It can only go higher. Or no one likes to bet unders.
No, I was going to say,
So
no one is betting this series
No.
under. No one is betting these games under. So if
Nobody wants to watch a
under,
game.
put around and wait.
Yeah, no one wants to watch a game and say, "Oh God, don't score on this power play. Oh God, don't score."
I mean, I like to watch games like that, but I'm kind of a sick
do.
individual.
I do, and it's the same across every sport. It transcends. It's one of those ones where everyone likes favorites, everyone likes overs, and that's why books make money and adjust the lines accordingly, right? If you learn to bet the dogs, as you do, and you learn to bet unders, you can make money off of it. And this is one of the ones where, you know, it's not a strong lean, but it's a lean. I think it's going to go under. I think it's going to be one of those 3-2 type games. Sometimes you get blown out of the water in the first period, and you know, it's a 2-2 game and you're like, what the hell just happened? But I have to believe the Canes winning Game 2. They know they're not going to get swept. They know they believe they're the better team, and I think they're going to go there and play the perfect road game, which is exactly what they did in winning 2 games in the opening series against Ottawa, 2 games in Philadelphia, and then the 2 games in Montreal. So they're a perfect 6-0 on the road as well, too.
That's an interesting dynamic. And I want to sit here and talk about the Golden Knights, and I want to sit here and talk about more hockey, but we've got World Cup to cover. And most importantly, I got to remind you guys about my Splash Sports World Cup Survivor. $25 to enter, $100,000 guaranteed. Right now, there's still a $70,000 overlay with less than a week to go. splashsports.com/Kelly in Vegas. I will be sure to tweet that out and annoy you guys until it fills, because it's going to fill. But you want to get involved between now and then. Carmine, let's talk about said World Cup. We all know I don't know enough about soccer, and here's what's going to happen over the next 6 weeks, 5 weeks. John Murray texted me this. Oh, great. Now everybody thinks they're a soccer handicapper every 4 years. Well, guess what, guys? That's not Carmine Bianco, because this guy's betting soccer year round and has been forever since I joined WagerTalk.com, since we did a little video in the Vegas studio called How to Bet Soccer. And arguably, I still don't know how to bet soccer that well. I know how the three-way line works. I know how to bet a total. I know how to bet the lift the cup stuff. But you have a bet for these guys that before the tournament even starts that they need to get involved with right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to some games. I was supposed to go to the game, the opening game in Mexico. I was invited to go to the game, but I can't because the game is on next Thursday and it is an evening game. And then I'd have to fly back to Toronto for the Canada game, which I'm going to on the Friday. And then I leave for Vegas on the Saturday. So I will be at Circa Sports. If you're looking for me, or if you're in Vegas and you see me at Circa, come by, say hello. I will buy you a beer. With that said, Switzerland to win the group. This is the group that has Canada in it, Bosnia, and Qatar, which some of you will pronounce as Qatar, but it is Qatar. And Switzerland opened up at plus money to win this group, but Canada was a slight favorite to win the group. And I get it. All three Canada games are at home. They play one in Toronto, two in Vancouver. But this Swiss team is a very good team as well, too. I've been watching some of the friendlies, and I don't put a lot of stock in them. But what I do want to see is how the players are playing in the opening 45 minutes when the starters are in the lineup and on the field. And one of the things with this Swiss team is, number one, they're the best team in the group as far as I'm concerned. Bosnia and Qatar are not going to get wins against Switzerland. Switzerland will likely win those two. Swiss start with at Levi Stadium. So Swiss are on the West Coast the whole opening round. They are at in Santa Clara at Levi Stadium for match day 1 against Qatar. And then they are at SoFi to play Bosnia. We'll have to make the trip from Toronto, and it's like about a 6-hour flight to get to the West Coast. And then they go up to Canada and play in Vancouver at BC Place to play Canada on match day 3. The thing is, they say Canada has the best chance of uprooting Switzerland to win the group. Here's why it won't happen. Canada has a slew of players that are all coming back from injuries, have been playing, managing minutes. Alphonso Davies is probably the name guy for Canada, who plays for Bayern Munich. And he's coming off an injury as well, too. He won't play in game 1 on next Friday against Bosnia. And if Canada wins the game against Bosnia, he's unlikely to feature in the second game in which they play Qatar, because they'll save him for game 3 against Switzerland and likely the knockout stages. Defenders, two of their defenders injured, were only able to play 30 minutes in the friendlies. Haven't looked good defensively thus far, even in the friendlies, with their starting lineup in there. And the Swiss are a team that can break teams down. I watched them play a game. I think they played against Jordan, and they easily won that game before they even pulled their starters from the game. After 45 minutes, they popped 3 quick ones, and they looked good. They looked clinical. This is a team that does well in the Euros. They're into the World Cup. They always seem to be there. Whether they make a deep run remains to be seen. But what they can do and will do is they will win this group at minus 125. They were plus money. That value is all gone. I snapped it up, as did our good friend Rob Braley. And now they're
minus 125. I've been searching in the background. I see minus 140. I see minus 130. I see minus 135. Yeah. I do not see a minus 125, Carmine.
Yeah. And the thing is, and that was at DK last night and this morning. You know, the problem is that as the news comes out of teams' rosters and any players that are injured, more and more people are starting to realize that Switzerland at minus 105 was there was a ton of value on it. Then minus 115, minus 125. This could get as high as like minus 150 before they even kick off for the first games on Friday in this group. So I'm all for it. you know, what I mean, I'll still be at the Canada game, and I'll still be cheering on the Canadians against Bosnia. But just to advance out of the group, I think Switzerland's the team to beat in this group.
All right, Carmine. I'm still now arguing with somebody trying to bet it because for some reason I'm not able to in the -130 book. But we're going to get to the root of the problem. I need answers right now because by the time I go to bed, it's going to be like -140 and then I'm going to miss all of it. Okay, if you guys have any more questions about soccer, we answer them in our How to Bet Soccer video for the 2026 World Cup. I don't see any in the comment section. I see lots of comments. Is this guy any good? I would say so, Carmine. Give yourself a few minutes to brag about yourself. Maybe talk a little previous World Cup action that you and I may or may not have had.
Yeah, Kelly and I have updated our video on how to bet soccer. I think one of the quick things I'm going to mention is, guys, for those of you that are novices to betting soccer or are betting for the first time, you have to remember that whether it's the group stages or whether it's the knockout stages, your books are always going to grade your bet. It's a three-way betting line. There are two-way betting lines, and we cover that in the video with Kelly. But the three-way betting line is either you're betting team A, team B, or a draw. It is always graded on 90 minutes plus injury time. So that's normally not a factor in the group stages because the game ends after the injury time. In the knockout stages, where a winner needs to be determined, if the game is tied after 90 minutes and injury time, it goes to 2 15-minute extra periods, extra time. And then if still tied, it goes to penalty kicks. Now, if you bet the three-way line and you take team A and they end up winning in extra time, your bet loses because it's already been graded as a loss, 90 minutes plus extra time. You have the option of betting the two-way line. You have also the option of betting to advance, which means who is going to make it into the next round, regardless of how they win, whether it is in regulation time, extra time, or penalty kicks. So those are things that you need to understand and when making a bet, because there's nothing worse than thinking you want to bet and then you lost it. As far as is this guy any good? I've been doing Soccer Wager Talk since I first started in 2015, 2016. I remember 2018, went to Vegas, and Marco D'Angelo and I filmed a video on the World Cup 2018, and that it went viral. There are a ton of views. I gave out France at 7-1 and Croatia at 40-1 as the two future bets, and thought that their path led to the finals and they would meet in the finals. I had Croatians in the chat telling me I was absolutely nuts. What was the final? France and Croatia. And the clients cashed, and I gave them ways to hedge out the 40-1 because my bet was on the finals. I knew France would win it, and they did win that game 4-2. We've cashed multiple future bets. Chelsea 20-1 to win Champions League. Real Madrid 18-1, 33-1. Italy to win the Euros 12-1. So numerous cashes, and my future bets are normally 10-1 or higher. If you watch a video that is on the Wager Talk channel right now, Dan Alexander and I did a live Q&A, and I gave out some group winners, and I gave out two future bets, and one of them's 40-1. So you might want to have a look at that video and jump on that one. So yes,
there's also a ton of other stuff that we've done over at Wager Talk. You guys can go to the wagertalk.com homepage. I know we have an entire World Cup playlist, whether it's group previews with Carmine, Bianco, or one of our other soccer handicappers, golden boot props. I believe that was Bruce Marshall who did that. Lots of other futures bets as well. Carmine, can you also tell everybody about your guide that you put together? Because it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So if you head over, and it's free to download, it is 20 pages long, and it covers every single group. Some of the groups have a best bet included at the bottom for the group. What I think is one of the better bets of the 6 games that are being played within the group. So you can get that. It has a lot of analytics, teams, projected points for the group, who is going to win the group, who is runner-up, who could be a dark horse as well too. And you can find that for free on my page at wt.buzz/CB. I also have a World Cup package up where you get every single World Cup play right through to the finals, includes futures plays, all props, all game plays, all totals. And if you purchase that package, you send an email over to support@wagertalk.com, and they will give you a invite code to our Discord channel. There's a World Cup Discord channel where I will be posting halftime bets. I can't post them on the site. There's just not enough turnaround time for anybody to get those plays. But in the Discord, you get them automatically. You get them as soon as I post it, you get it. If your notifications are on, I'll be making some halftime bets and some live bets, and you'll get those as part of the package as well too.
Awesome stuff. Carmine, Bianco, I'm excited for soccer. Is that crazy to say? Did I just say that out loud?
It is. And if Marco's still watching, by the way, Marco, I'm betting Commandment in the Belmont Stakes today. Not because I have any info, but Commandment. I'm Italian, and he's number 7. You know what the 7th commandment is, Kelly?
Oh, don't do this to me. It's Saturday, not Sunday.
Thou shalt not commit adultery. Come on, the
go.
7th commandment. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Catholic Carmine. I appreciate that. My father would have known that answer, but that's another story for another day. Carmine, Bianco, WT.buzz/CB. I dropped it in the comment section if you guys want to go download that guide, as well as all of our other free World Cup content over on WagerTalk.com. Carmine, I hope you have a very profitable Saturday. I hope the rest of you guys have a very profitable weekend. We'll see you guys next weekend right here, same time, same place on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see you next Saturday.